Hello everyone, and welcome to this extra creepy episode of Roshow Reviews. And today we are taking a look at the first slasher movie ever created. So, oh, it's not. Thanks, jerk.
Evil dies tonight!
Anyway, shall we start with the plot? After a young Mike Myers kills his sister in one of my favorite opening shots of all time, he goes to a mental institution. Then Don Pleasance's Dr. Loomis spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up. Because I realized what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. Then Michael escapes the hospital and heads to his small hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois. Then he starts stalking a young teenager, Laurie Strode, until it all comes together in an actually pretty not bloody finale. The characters are fine. They're not super deep or meaningful, but they don't have to be. Jamie Lee Curtis is the original final girl, a trope still being used to this very day. And of course, this is the movie that gained her the nickname Scream Queen. The other standout is Dr. Loomis, played by the legendary Donald Pleasence. He gives a great performance with his long monologues. He is easily one of the best parts of any early Halloween movie. The other couple teenagers aren't very memorable, but they do have some fun quirks and low personality traits. But like I said, they're not super memorable. I had to look up their names just for this video cause I forgot. By the way, their names are Linda and Annie. Linda also says totally way too much.
You know, it's totally insane. I'll be totally wiped out.
We totally never show. Totally charted.
Totally.
Totally.
Totally silly.
Yeah, it's totally dark. She's totally not here.
Man, that's a lot of totallys. And finally, there's Michael Myers, who is just about the best horror movie villain of all time. To bring Michael to life, they had a total of 6 different people play him. Nick Castle, Tony Moran, Tommy Lee Wallace, James Winburn, Will Sadden, and Deborah Hill. Nick Castle is the most famous, and for good reason, as he did most of the adult Michael stuff. Will Sandin played 6-year-old Michael in The Wide Shot. And Deborah Hill, the co-writer and producer, was the arm of young Michael in The Opening Shot. Tony Moran and Tommy Lee Wallace were most likely used as stunt doubles and just extra bodies. And of course, you can't talk about Michael Myers without talking about that simple, creepy, blank, emotionless mask. It's iconic. The creepy effect the mask has can be attributed to Tommy Lee Wallace. He made it by buying a $1 William Shatner mask, ripping off the eyebrows, sideburns, and enlarging the eyes. Then he finally messed up the hair and painted it in off-white. And from there, the shape was born. Michael Myers is one of, if not the best horror movie killer of all time. He's so unsettling because he's very mysterious. He has no clear origin or reason why he's so invincible. And of course, like any monster, he eats dogs.
What kind of idiots don't like Smarties?
You know, in my opinion, Michael would be furry. You know, so what's with all the horror movie villains having such common names? I mean, Michael, Jason, Freddy. Director John Carpenter created the score for the film, and overall, it still very much holds up today. It mixes synth and piano very well. If I had any complaints, it's that it feels like he wrote like 4 pieces of music for the film. But then again, I don't blame him because he only had like 2 weeks to write the entire score. So I would have liked to see some more variety in the soundtrack. But I can't overlook the amazing, scary, creepy, iconic theme. It's by far the best theme or any piece of music made for a horror film. It's crapping better than Jason's and crapping better than crap Freddy's. The score is great and it sets the tone for the film perfectly. Yeah, I'm giving cinematography its own section because I don't think enough people talk about how good it is. So here I will give you some of my favorite shots. Love the way it reveals the gravity-defying knife. And I also love the way Michael just tilts his head like it's a work of art. Enough said. The way he just materializes out of the shadows, the way his cold dead face just pops out, so great, one of the coolest shots. John Carpenter's Halloween is one of the best horror films of all time. Almost everything about it is great. While it is a bit slow in the beginning, it's all in service in keeping the suspense and atmosphere. And it, of course, ends in one of the best cliffhangers in cinema history. This one film created many of the horror movie tropes we see today. And even though it's not the first slasher movie, it's the one that popularized it. The acting is phenomenal, especially from Donald Pleasence and Jamie Lee Curtis. It has a great score by John Carpenter. It was also perfectly written by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter, with great direction also by John Carpenter. The budget for this film was $325,000, which is super low for a whole movie. And I still find it so impressive that they are able to do so much with so little. While it's not as scary as it used to be, it's still very unsettling. 9 out of 10. Yeah, so about furry. Man, I hate her anyway. Yeah. Jason? The boogeyman.